Oh my God, it's still not showing us. What the hell? So maybe we're going to have to do like, okay, your camera lid is closed anyway, right? So you don't have to be on camera. Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's off.
Yeah.
It's not showing anything though, huh?
So, nope.
Yep, no.
It's not showing you, but it's showing my screen.
I was trying to pull up your channel here.
Restream fix something. So I don't know what they're doing. They're not showing people's icons, apparently. I don't know when, and I think they started that yesterday when I talked to Dr. Thompson about it. I don't know. Anyway.
Weird.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You know, you could do a blank cam, but then it won't show you. Will it show your name? Can you turn your camera on but leave your lid closed or whatever, and just see what it does? Yeah, there you go. What the hell? It's just not showing your icon. It shuts the camera off. It takes you off the screen. Well, something new, boys and girls.
Oh, well, I can just leave it like that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that'll work. I can do that too.
I was going to try and change my avatar and see if that triggers it or something.
So,
it was there for a second. It pops on for a second and then it disappears.
Yeah. What the hell? Is this a new setting? I don't know what they're doing. Whatever. Don't know.
Okay.
Logan Fisher's here. Hi, Logan.
Hey, Logan.
Yep. So, having a little conversation with Sam, Redefined Living from Standing for Truth. And it's very disheartening. I've been trying to, I asked him to have a conversation and we got in touch by email, right? And he said, oh, you screwed me in the past, so I want to do it on Clubhouse. And I said, no, Zoom, StreamYard, or Restream. Those are the three options. And he wants me to sign up for Clubhouse. Have you ever signed up for Clubhouse?
Nope.
I have no idea.
I heard it's a dumpster fire, so I didn't.
Yeah. I have no interest in signing up for Clubhouse. And he's saying, oh, well, you haven't responded to my request. And it's like, yeah, I did. I give you three viable operators. I mean, I know he's been on Zoom and I know he's been on StreamYard because that's what Standing uses, right? So there's no reason in hell why he can't, and he can even set up the stream if he wants. But he, he's going to pretend that I'm not showing up to talk to him because I refused to download the Clubhouse software on my Mac and sign up for some weird. You gotta pick your club or something, and I would have to pick the club that you have to pay if you pick more than one club, I guess, or something. I don't know. I'm not interested in that shit. So, Standing for Poop. Anyway, Standing for Poop did a little short video on DNA, irrefutable evidence for design, multiple overlapping codes, which we will get into.
Just real quick, have you seen their movie they put out?
No.
The Genesis movie that
SFT did a movie?
Yeah, him and I think isn't Sam the one with the slicked back hair?
Raw Matt.
Okay, Raw Matt and him did a Genesis movie.
Oh my God, the Genesis movie. What's it called? The Genesis movie?
Something like that, yeah. Pretty generic.
Oh, we got to check that out. I know they released another book too on I think it was on Genesis or the Flood or something, and it was just like the usual shit. Just really bad editing, bad formatting, taking pictures of links to papers and all that stuff. So,
Well, I recognized a lot of the stuff in the video, so it was they just borrowed a lot of stuff when they made their thing.
yep, Swifter's here. So Swifter.
Let's see if I can.
He looks like he has progeria. Yeah, because he claims to have lived in the woods doing nothing but raiding beehives and eating honey for 2 months. And in his a book that he did before he started doing the whole creationist thing, he was like kind of a health nut, and he wrote a book, and I got a copy of it somewhere, and it shows him lifting a 300-pound rock. And are they still doing garbage out there, or what is that?
Yeah, sorry, I tried to hit the mute. He went around. I got a cul-de-sac out front, so he came back around. He had to do the cul-de-sac over, but he should be gone now.
He's doing more. Anyway, so we got David Laurie Hayes here, David/Laurie Hayes, and Swifter and Leo. Anyway, but so I made a comment. Do you guys want to be laughed at like this? Derp derp. Got an example of one of these forward and backward overlaps there, Donnie? All of you listeners, do you care that you are being sold down a road like this? So that was the beginning of it, right? And then Donnie gives his blurb about the ENCODE project. We can get into that a little bit, but there is a really good example of an overlapping gene in mitochondria, but we can talk about that later. And there are like 700 overlapping genes in the genome, where some of them you can read forward and backwards, except that's the narrative that he gives. Anyway, I'm talking too much about it, so we'll let it go. But we go down here to a little bit of talking, and then here we go. I gotta make this bigger so people can read it.
Oh, the name of that thing they did was The Quest for Noah.
The Quest for Noah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
God, they just want to double down on this shit. I'll check that out.
Hey, Leo's out there. Great job yesterday, Leo, with Tank Furyk. Grayson and Leo both had Frank stumbling, and Frank even got to the point with Leo where he just said, "Did someone hurt you, Leo? I'm feeling that you were hurt," and it was like, wow, Frank was really stumped. He stooped to, "Who hurt you, Leo?"
who touched you?
Yeah, show us on the doll.
Yeah. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Okay, I'm hoping you read the screen. Let's see. Okay, atheism has answers. Then why can't you ever answer my questions? Okay, let's see. Where the hell is it here? Where's the beginning of it? Redefined living. Why can't you ever? Okay, tell me, is there anything within your metaphysic that is primary and non-contingent, providing for all things that are derivative? Be clear. This is an important question. So this is the crux of the Presupp argument, that basically we can't provide a primary foundation for the universe or for the cosmos. And if we say either cosmos or reality is our foundation, right? They will say, "Oh, that's idiotic. You can't do that. You got to say it's God." So you have to go one step up and get another designer, tinkerer God who created the cosmos, because the cosmos just being here and being the reality that we find ourselves embedded in is not enough of an answer for them. And then what does this guy say? Ironically, even if they had answers, they would be meaningless. Why is truth better than falsehood if there is no God and no standards? There's no objective answer to that. This is Rosmania or whatever.
Yeah, I was told the other day that we are living the lie.
Yeah. And then Redefined Living says it's worse than that, because without God, truth would be inaccessible. Everything would be fundamentally shrouded in mystery. Every fact would be contingent on the unknown. Okay. but it's
And that's fine. That's fine. There are unknowns. Unknowns are discovered all the time, but
yeah,
you can't claim an unknown until it's known.
yeah,
You know, that's again what Jim Bob was doing that stuff too. Well, what if there is? Well, what ifs are endless, right? And when the what if comes to fruition, then let us know, right?
yeah. Okay, and he said, as usual, no answers to meaningful questions from the atheist. Hey, bud, would you prefer you reconcile yourself with God before your inevitable encounter with Him? Oh, when is that? Monday? If you can't answer these questions for me, I'm not sure why you think you would do any better with Him. We both.
And I answer right back, is your God just?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my God's just. I said, well, my conscience is clear. So if the only thing I'm going to get picked on is, not picking one of the religions, then so be it. But yeah, it's the guilt thing they're trying to throw at you. Well, you're guilty and you're going to stand in front of the judge. And it's like, well, I'm thinking I'm not guilty. So, I'm not going to be up night worrying about it. Why is it that your conscience bothers you so much, right?
Me dropping dead is enough of a worry. I'm not going to worry about what happens after I drop dead. I don't care, basically.
Well, if there's anything at all, it's a bonus, right? So,
right.
There you go.
Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's a little hot and humid and uncomfortable, at least, hell, we'll get to live forever. What the hell?
Well, you see the meme, all the best minds are in hell, so they've already got it air conditioned by now.
Oh yeah, they probably figured it out. Oh, I love the series Preacher and how they deal with Adolf Hitler and hell and all that stuff. It's really cool. Okay, we both know you can't defend your denial of Him, uppercase. One day He will give you your way, but you don't want that. Well, your God can go take a flying fucking rolling donut for all I care. Anyway. And then I responded, primary and contingent. What the fuck? You do realize that your presup is not the only way metaphysics has been tackled in philosophy, right? Philosophers laugh at you guys. Why do you think they are laughing? You have something stuck sideways in your head about worldview, and it is obstructing all thinking. I'm not sure why it cut that off. I don't know. Anyway, after that. Oh, yeah, I see what it did there. Okay. So then, oh my God, okay, we talk a little bit about that. And let's see, we're redefine. Yes, I am asking you a metaphysical question. You can answer that any way you like if you can answer it at all. Okay. So, it's fair to ask questions like, why are we here? What is all this? What's happening? And all of that, and I think we should try to give them an answer. But the thing is, they're looking for something primary and non-contingent, right? So what would that be in we have the cosmos, right? Which is and this cosmos is shaped like a circle because this is all we know about the cosmos as far as we can reach and as far as we can see. And of course, we go back in time to the big expansion, and we don't know what happened well, there is no prior to that. The expansion of space-time prior doesn't make any sense. But obviously, the cosmos is part of something. It may be part of a bigger structure, or it could be that reality is all we got. I mean, when you wake up and you're in the morning and you're alive, what do you find? You find all of these facts about nature and physical laws and gravity and your floor holding your feet up and all of this stuff that we've known all of our lives. And out here, there are some questions, right? So we don't know what created the cosmos or if it was created at all. I doubt it was. The idea of creating the cosmos is a human idea that we get from our shaping stones in spears, right? We are a tool creating species, and we have this idea that things must be created, tools must be created. So we look around ourselves and we see the trees and we say, oh, the trees must be created. But anyway, so if I say, or if they say, well, God is basically the primary and non-contingent foundation of everything, right? So God basically creates this. So God creates this. So there's a creator God, right? And the creator God is oddly like a human being chipping a stone on the savannah. You know what I mean? They're thinking in terms of human beings, which are primates, making tools or creating things, building houses, building roads, drilling wells, looking for water, all of that stuff. What do we got here in the chat?
Well, if a horse has a god, it is, of course, a horse. A magnificent horse, right?
Yep, a magnificent horse.
Yeah, obviously God is an image of us, only much gooder.
Much gooder, yeah, and much bigger.
I know Leo's not going to like that one, but
gooder. Yeah.
Oh, much gooder.
What does Leo like? Leo,
Leo was great. Grayson is supposed to have Cy Gart on his channel too, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, nice. So, Leo, you didn't respond to my text. Dave and I sent you a video that we wanted you to look at. But okay, so they get upset. Okay, well, hang on a second. I was going to check out chat here first. You can deny something like that. Let's say Snake was right. Was that Snake was right, Sam? Okay. You can deny something like that even exists. He would need to justify the idea that there needs to be one fundamental singular thing out there, right? Yeah, the universe could be like some really bizarre crystalline structure of space-time that's much bigger than what we and in not even in the kind of geometry that we can imagine. In other words, the universe and the physics behind the cosmos could be something we can't even imagine right now. So hold that thought. Something so great that we can't imagine it, that human minds can't know it yet. Okay? So they say, oh, it's God. And we say, no, it's reality. Reality is the foundation, right? It's like we're pointing at, what happened here?
And a Buddhist would lean that that's all one and the same. So.
Yeah. Yeah, we're pointing at this and saying, okay, this is primary. Whatever the existence, everything as it is the primary foundation, and we call that reality, or the cosmos, or whatever you want. But that's just a word, right? And it represents something in our little heads. But so does God. And when they talk about God, I know I've heard preachers talk about God and say this: God is so great, so mysterious, that we little humans can't possibly imagine what he is or what he's doing or how he works, right? God works in mysterious ways. So what is the fucking difference? The only difference between saying it's God or reality is that we're using a different word for it and a slightly different set of concepts. Reality would point to natural laws, gravity, the universe, things we can figure out perhaps, whereas God refers to a tinkerer God, a designer God, and that's where we're at. So the odd thing is that we have a certain kind of person like us who accept that and find that that's enough to get out of bed in the morning, right? I mean, we all get out of bed in the morning. We all put on our pants the same way. We all perhaps eat a donut, have some coffee, and get into a car and drive on three-dimensional streets and go to work and do whatever. And we all accept naturalism, which is right here. This is just all that is natural. That's all human beings and all organisms live, and that's about the best we can do. But you see what I mean about God being mysterious and reality being mysterious? What's the difference? Just because I can't tell you how the cosmos began, in air quotes, doesn't mean that isn't what there is. And they're trying to.
But you have to. If you say you don't believe, then you must know where the universe came from, where life came from, where the elements came from.
Everything. Yeah, and the thing is that God is inside here. It's something that humans came up with, and we came up with it by looking at us. So we said, "Oh, God made us in His image," or "We made God in our image." Is what happened, and they can't accept that, and they think they've got this got you, like, "Oh, this is a gotcha. I just got you." Oh my God. You say you can explain reality without God. Your explanation, I don't know. It just works. It's an axiom. Don't ask me hard questions. People laugh at you. That is brilliant, bud. That's what he said to me. So, I mean, that's what we end up with is this mudslinging contest because they're not going to. And then I think I asked him questions about, well, how did God do it? If you don't know how God did it, if you don't know how God created the universe, then you're in the same position as I am, right?
Yep, I bring up that question too. Yeah, it's like, again, you're saying, well, science can say, well, even if we don't know for sure, it probably happened this way, this way, this way, this way. And then, okay, now how did your God do it? Well, the word. And it's like, what does that mean?
Okay.
It spoke the word, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, that's how he did it, right? Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So he's a magic man that has plans and designs just like we do. So he obviously thinks about things, and he has a will just like we do. And he says, but except that he's a little different. That's all he has to do is speak the word, and you'll end up with a whole fucking universe or a cosmos. None of us can do that. So that's where the example fails. So if we're made in His image, how come we can't create our own little cosmos? I don't know. Oh, I misunderstood Arl's way of doing things. He's the questioner and doesn't like being asked or answering questions. Yeah. So anyway,
well, and that's what Leo was cornering Frank yesterday about was how things ought to be, and that if a good God wanted things to be good, then they ought to be good.
Yeah.
And they were both stumped. They weren't even understanding. And I'm not, anywhere near Leo's league or Mike's league or anything else with the understanding of philosophy. Y'all are way better at it than I am. But I understood what Leo was saying.
Yeah.
And Frank and Cameron, they repeated half a dozen times, I don't understand what you're saying. And I'm like, really? It seemed quite clear to me. So
we got Calacia 789 gave a link, but he's on your channel, or they are on your channel.
Yeah, Missing Mod too. Yeah, come on over onto Mike's stream. We're dual streaming, so
let's see here. I gotta see
the link. The link is pinned on my chat there. You can come over to Mike's chat.
Oh, I'm not capturing your chat. I can do that later, but I have to wait a day.
Well, it's showing up over here, but
oh, I see. He gave the link. That's all it is. I thought it was something exciting, Calacia.
Yeah.
We're not that exciting. Anyway, should we pin the link out there and see if anybody wants to get in and talk about this stuff? Because that's about all there is to say. It's like, I accept reality. Well, maybe I go a little bit further and talk about like how I've come to understand this in my own mind. There's what I did is kind of accepted the reality that I encounter every day and that every single human being encounters. And that's a reality I talked about, where you get out of bed, put your pants on, touch the floor, you wake up, we know what other humans are. We have a theory of mind, all of this bullshit, right? That's just all stuff that's inside of our natural understanding of the world. And I always call that R1. Basically, like it's a natural understanding that all human beings have. And oh my God, it did it to me again. It's not showing, is it? My drawing. iPad good notes.
Well, your drawing is still there. Are you drawing something new?
Yeah. It's not showing up. Selector item 0. And I'll go back to. I have to get out and come back in. Something's going wrong with my Mac connecting. I've got it plugged into my Mac, for God's sake. I don't understand why it's having such a problem.
Your Mac is supposed to automatically fix everything. What's going on, Mike?
I know. Mac
Brag about the Mac, and then it screws up on you.
They get a lot of shit. Nope, not working. Screw it up yet. I don't know what the hell's going on. Oh, I don't know.
You have to go back to. You have to go back to Paint.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, just got to mess with it a little bit. Okay, so anyway, I got R1 here, which I call like our common ordinary understanding of the natural world. And then if you become educated and you go to school, they start teaching you science, and you realize that science is a much more methodologically accurate way of figuring out what is going on in R1. Like what's going on in the world. You learn about gravity, and you learn, oh my God, we got to talk about Made by Jim Bob and what he thinks about space and gas.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
The flurfer argument was great.
Yeah. God,
and he wouldn't answer me, give me a straight answer about does he believe in a literal Noah's Ark either. He totally just dodged around it. I asked him 2-3 times, and he wouldn't give me a straight answer.
You've got 100 messages already?
It just came up in your thing there. I was just letting you know.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, thanks, everybody.
Oh, wow.
100 messages in the chat. Hello to everybody. Thanks for stopping by.
So then science, okay, what you come up with is, well, you already know that you have a body, and you know a whole lot of stuff about your own body, and you know about that you can die, that you can't walk in front of buses. You know all that normal stuff inside R1. But then R2 goes a little bit further, and you start learning that you are an organism. And this is how I justify my epistemology, which is circular. But circular is not the way to describe it. There's a better way to describe it. So you realize that you are basically an organism. So I am an organism, and I'm going to give myself a smiley face, and that's it. So I'm an organism. So now I can do the science of what I am. And one of those sciences is neuroscience, which tells you about how your nervous system works and how you interact with the world. Basically, here's the world out here, or the cosmos. And you can use science to figure all of that stuff out. And that tells me that I am a tool-making primate, and that helps me understand how they came up with the idea of the creator, tinker, God. So it goes like, okay, you go from like basically the thing that you don't really understand all of, and you go around and you figure out that you are an organism, and you go around here and you figure out all the things about an organism, and then you come around and you say that basically that's how you understand the world, and this is your knowing of the world, right? And you do that all within science, so you can use science to figure out all of those problems. But it seems like a circle. But the problem is it's not really a circle. What it is a massive interconnected network, basically, where everything basically supports everything else. So it's a totally connected network. And if you ever find anything out here that does not connect to the network, like suppose your grandma's ghost walked in, something supernatural, something that doesn't fit into the naturalistic framework, then you got a problem, right? But my grandma's ghost has never walked in on me while I'm, you know what,
And
never.
even if it did, what is it? Bereavement syndrome. I think that's a
Oh
dated
yeah,
term, but
yeah,
there are a lot of people. Yeah, and it's perfectly understandable that if you spent 50 years or more with someone
yeah,
and you expect to see them in their favorite rocking chair or sewing room or in their garden or whatever it is, yeah, it's perfectly understandable that you're going to see them. You know what I mean? Because that's part of that the disposition in your brain, right? That you just expect when you walk into the room that your wife is or your husband, whatever it was, that they're smoking their pipe or they're knitting or they're doing whatever, right? So it's perfectly understandable. But you also have to understand that at the same time they are still in that plot at the cemetery, right?
yeah. But I've had that experience. Like my father-in-law died, and I was really connected to him for moral reasons. Basically, he asked me to take care of his daughter, and I had a connection to the man. He respected me, and I really respected him. It took me 5 years to win his respect, so the man meant a lot to me. And then he died. And one night I was sleeping in New Germany with his daughter, and I woke up and I saw him standing in the hallway or the bedroom door in his suit that he was buried in, right? And he was standing there, and it was just clear as hell. And
Sure.
then I woke up,
Yeah.
and but it didn't feel like a dream. It felt like I actually saw it. But when I woke
My
up, when I was fully awake and I was doing other things, like, okay, I'm in New Germany, I'm here, I'm doing this, uh, or actually it was St. Bonifacius. I knew where I was, right? And then he was gone. So that's the difference between an eidetic memory and a hallucination or a dream. So,
my mother used to stop by all the time. She was always on the go, and you never know when she would roll up. She'd be at the store and oh, I bought this. Why don't you make it this weekend for dinner or whatever it is? You know what I mean? She's always stopping by. And for I don't know how long, and my wife was experiencing it too. Every time we saw a car that looked similar, coming down the street, we expected it to pull up right out front, and it would be grandma,
oh,
and yeah, just something like that. Yeah, you just expect, oh, that, whatever, when she had a blue car, white car, whatever color she had. Yeah, when I saw it coming down the street, I expected it to pull up right out front and grandma get out with a bag or something, and for how long, and she's been gone for years now. So
yeah, another thing that happened to me is about 15 years after he died, maybe 20 years after he died, I was at a grocery store, and there was a guy, and it was his doppelganger.
mhm.
It looked exactly like him. And I followed this guy around the grocery store, and he was kind of like getting creeped out by me. And I was going to stop him and ask him if he was, if his last name was the same as hers. And because he had to be like his cousin or brother or something. I mean, it was just unbelievable. He looked like an identical twin. And I let the man go and never found out who he was and never got an answer. So anyway, but yeah, coherentism, but it's more than that. It's found herentism because like everything connects in a very tight crossword, like like you got a crossword puzzle, where the words all have to match up, basically, and that's how things connect. And if you find some letter that doesn't fit, or you find some problem with the crossword puzzle, well, then you got a supernatural event, and then you got something to figure out. But everything we learn about science just locks in. Everything we learn about the brain locks into how our minds work. And it's just very clear. And so it's a very, very tight network. It's not circular reasoning. And that's all we got, man. We can't go any deeper than that. We don't know yet. And when we do know, it's not going to be some fucking fairy tale. It's going to be some really weird physics like quantum mechanics that few people understand. That's what it's going to end up being.
And we don't worship scientists as gods either, because I always point out, standing on the shoulders of giants also refers to all the scientists that were wrong.
Yeah.
But being wrong is okay too. That then we know these things are wrong, right? And we can put it down. Nope, this is wrong, So
yeah, and this bullshit about science being wrong and being overturned all the time. No, that isn't how science works. It's additive. Things basically get clearer and clearer. Like the age of the universe. First of all, it was like, oh, it's 10 billion or more years, and then it was 13 billion years, and then it was 13 point something, and then point something else. And they keep homing.
But it ended up within the range though, because they always gave a range. It's between 5 billion and 20 billion. And then it worked out that, they were pretty much right. It's about in there,
Yeah. Yep.
So Hovind does that all the time. Oh, they always changed it. And it's like, no, they refined it because, it was always within that range. It was just refining. And now they're refining to decimal points.
Yeah. I disappear when I take my camera off. Something's wrong with Restream. I could probably write their I've written their customer service. I don't think I ever got a response.
You got to come, but you got to come back to StreamYard.
I think so. I have to go back, but I don't know. I think for a while it was more expensive, but I think they dropped the price. So I should go.
I bought it for the whole year, and you get a better price. So
yeah, it ain't bad. So anyway, that's what we're stuck with.
But they wanted to charge me double so that I could have dual cameras, and I'm like, seriously? So what I figured out was I can just fire up my laptop, invite myself, and run my camera off of that and have dual cameras. And it's like, double the price just to have dual cameras? No. I'm not going to go there.
Yep. Okay.
I found a way around it.
Yeah. Anyway, but the interesting thing is that there are people that think that we're really stupid for just accepting that we don't know certain things, right? Certain foundational things. Like you got to have a story or a narrative to explain everything. I'm guessing that like when humans sat around the fire and tried to explain thunderstorms with thunder gods and things like that, that they were of the same mind where they had to have an explanation that made sense to them intuitively. But when you if you have a scientific mind, you will understand how to make sense of things scientifically. But these Christians seem to be completely without the ability to have for that scientific mind. I mean,
well, even if we grant, I can grant that religions were a primitive way of science, right? They were trying to explain things, and they explained it with, spirits or whatever. Okay. But the difference being is, as we learn more, we, like you said, we add to it. They don't want to add to it. They just want to stay at first century or prior understanding of the natural world. And that's just ridiculous, because I point out you're using the internet, right?
But the thing is,
you're not making smoke signals or drawing cave paintings or whatever, right? So
their narrative is no better than us saying it's just reality or just the cosmos. The only difference is they're calling it God, and they will admit that they don't understand God entirely themselves, right? What do you think of this, James? I mean, it's like, isn't it the same thing to say? I can, when I go to AA meetings, when I say God, I mean cosmos and reality.
Sure.
And we get along just fine, because we mean exactly the same thing, the source of all being, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, what the fuck? And why can't they get that through their heads? I think it's because for them, arguing with an atheist is not about arguing, talking to another person. It's about putting on a show for other like people that are of the same mind as they are, right? So it's all showmanship. Oh, we're gonna checkmate the atheist. He can't explain X or whatever.
Sure, scoring points for the culture war.
Yeah, it's just like fuck. It's mind numbing to talk to these people.
Yeah. Well, they have their egos invested in it, right? It's they don't know how to separate, nor would they want to separate their sense of identity and worth from the narrative that they're within.
Right.
And so that's partly a big part of what they're defending, and a big part of what they're leveraging over you, because they want to dominate you. They want to dominate society and every individual, which is really a narcissistic framework. But their entire religion was created by narcissists, so it kind of does make sense.
The irony is that if you there's a hell of a lot of stuff in the Bible that says that's exactly what you're not supposed to do. I mean that you're supposed to accept that you don't understand God. You don't understand the bottom turtle. You're supposed to not judge other human beings. You're supposed to not be a fucking narcissist, according to a lot of the softer passages you read in the Bible.
Right. But like Dan McClellan points out, Bibles are not univocal. And so
Right.
at some times you have a writer who is in a particularly healthy mood that day. Maybe
Right.
they got better sleep than usual. Maybe they're feeling more safe than usual in their surroundings. And so they'll say something that's pretty reasonable and pretty smart, wise, whatever.
Yeah.
But then, they end up having a bad day. Someone triggers their narcissism, and now they've got to figure out a way to dominate and leverage and manipulate and gaslight. So yeah, that's people. When people read a Bible, what they get out of it has a lot to do with what they put into it, who they are. It's like a mirror. You see what you see looking back at you has an awful lot to do with who you were in the first place. And so this is why somebody that's got a very good personality will read a Bible and they'll just cherry pick the good stuff out and say, well, this is the stuff I care about. And somebody who's got a dog shit personality will look for dog shit things to grab onto.
Yeah. Andrew pointed out tribalism in groups and out groups. And it basically what it amounts to is racism. It's how racism got its start.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just in groups and out groups. And because racism has become rather unpopular, as it should, they have to have other ways to create in groups and out groups. Sure. I mean, our biology makes us group together. And reality does too, because we have to protect ourselves against outside forces. So we have to be suspicious, stranger danger, all that bullshit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it really is it's tough to navigate today's world where, we look out and for 8 billion people, we have to accommodate all of them.
Right.
I mean, and we should, sort of. I don't know.
Sort of,
yeah. Well, there are bad people in the world, and you got the in group, the good people and the bad people, the law-abiding people or whatever. It goes on and on. But I mean, as far as the way we're constructed, is we are constructed to really care a lot about ourselves and our own survival, to really, really care even more about our children, and extended to our immediate family, and then our cousins. And when you look at the percentage of DNA that we share with people that we care about, the ratio is about how much we care and how much DNA we share is really fucking clear. I mean, second cousins we care less about.
Well, yeah.
The further it goes, and then community. We got a community. We got our block. We have block parties.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. Okay, so Dave, you listed somebody listed something. Okay, we got this evening. Join us, Grassman. Oh, you're covering Mothman. Oh, by the way, guys, you have to turn your camera on and maybe close your camera lid so that you're visible in the stream, because something is really wrong with StreamYard. I don't know.
Our avatars aren't working. It's very odd.
Yeah, Swifter.
That's weird.
There you are. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they're not working on Restream. They weren't yesterday either. We had to be Dr. Thompson and I both had to have our cameras on.
Yeah, just turn your camera on and throw a hanky over it. You're good to go.
Something. Yep. I got a little picture of our thumbnail for this. This is basically redefined living here, putting the cart before the horse.
Oh, and don't forget, are you going to explain to Jim Bob the Flurfer why our atmosphere stays on the planet?
Oh my God. So I asked him.
Magic.
Oh my God. It's just unbelievable. Okay. So he says, well, you know, we have the planet Earth, right? And then we've got let's see, I kind of want a blue color, so and then we got the atmosphere out here, right? And then we have outer space. And he told me what the pressure is in outer space, something to the minus 70 or something. And he asked, okay, our model doesn't work because this is a vacuum out here. We got a vacuum.
Your slide's only like half on the screen, Mike. You gotta.
What is happening? Are you kidding me?
Oh, poor Mike.
What the fuck?
Must be God's will.
What the?
Restream did something like I told Mike when I went to join, I had to sign in all over again and everything. And usually I don't have to do that. So
Yeah.
We're dealing with a little glitch today.
Kidding me? Oh no, I know what it did. It died just as I was switching, so it died. So I have to go through this again. It lost contact. God damn, son of a bitch! Why does technology plague us so? Can you see it now? Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So we got a vacuum out here, right? I think I spelled that wrong. Is it 2 C's? Yeah. So
yes, he did, Andrew. He's using a Flurfer argument that why doesn't it get sucked out into the vacuum of space?
He's asking why it doesn't get sucked out in the vacuum. And I asked him, I said, okay, you told me what the pressure is in outer space, right? So I said, what is the pressure right next to outer space at some arbitrarily small area that would be at the edge of our atmosphere, right? Like as we go down, gravity is what creates the pressure. And if you have a big box with a vacuum is in it on the surface, and you open that box, it's going to go whoosh. And he didn't get that. He didn't understand that much physics. That basically out here we have less gravity, and some of these things do escape, but very few of them. But it's not going to fucking push into the vacuum because there's not enough gravity to push it there. It's like, oh my God, that. So made by Jim Bob has like, and Andrew you talked to him about mutations, and he had a similar misunderstanding of evolution and mutations, and it was just mind numbing how dumb he was. The evolution boy thing. Where is it?
I think it's easy to like mix up the mutation stuff, but like what you explained about gravity just seems so intuitive, and like the first thing that's probably going to pop into your mind, like with knowing nothing about it.
Yeah. That you mean the first thing that would pop into your mind is why doesn't it all rush into outer space?
No, that it would be like graded such that like at the edge of space and the edge of the atmosphere, whatever that is, that's even like a point. It's going to be just relatively much closer than it is from sea level to space. Right. Like,
but in the comments when I was talking to him, he absolutely doubled down on this and said I was stupid. I just didn't get it. I just didn't get that.
I mean, he's a crazy person.
I guess so. But I mean, like crazy. That's our.
I mean, that is the impression that I get, that he's crazy.
Mousetrap.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Is he, that dumb, or is he playing dumb to the audience? Because, Big Bad Mama's the one that said he's a literalist on Bible things, and I'm like, oh, really? So that's when I started, hinting around. Tell us the Noah's Ark story, Jim Bob, right?
Yeah,
and he kind of got bent, right? So I pressed him on it in the comments, and he said, I don't accept that it was 4,300 years ago. Okay, but you accept the rest? Yeah.
he won't admit to being a young Earth creationist, but in fundamentalist, but he is.
He is.
But you know,
basically, yeah.
But is he? I mean, he's a very talented video producer. I think he has.
Yeah. Is he, or does he know if he says evolution is stupid, he gets a bunch of super chats?
Right.
Well, he used to be a flat earther before he got popular, and now I think he's deeply embarrassed he even had those views, or still does.
Really?
So with that, yeah.
Wow.
He used to talk about it all the time, is my understanding, and now that he's popular, he tones it down. Maybe he changed his view, or he knows that it's just so crazy that.
Yeah, see, he's playing for super chats. That's you know what I mean. I'm
making money. He's making money. He's
yeah.
He's going out to Las Vegas with Jay Dyer, and he's going to become, like fucking. These guys make a ton of money, and I suppose if I were making money, I might lie too. But I'm just not a good liar. I never learned to be a good liar.
That's what I asked one of the guys that does the Flurfer debates all the time. And he said, they're doing it for money. He goes, I sit there and watch, and people are giving these people $50 super chats, one after another.
$100 super chat.
Yeah, for saying, oh, the scientists are dumb, the earth is flat.
Well,
and it feeds something where people just want to be told that they're smarter than, I guess.
Yeah. I'm a bad liar because my mother was this just flaming Irish woman. And she was, as soon as I would tell even the slightest lie, she'd whack me.
Father Deacon Ananias and Jay Dyer are wackos as well. He kind of follows those guys.
Yeah.
Big wackos.
Pretty amazing. I don't know. So I don't know that explaining the precept thing like that. I mean, you're nominating something that basically is the source of all all logic, mathematics, the way things work. What else can you do? When it comes to the physics of all that stuff, it's going to get complicated in the future, with either something like string theory or, some really strange theory is going to tell us a little more about the cosmos and why dark matter and why dark energy and all of that stuff. But I mean, it isn't going to be a fucking story about some man god bear pig. I mean, Jesus Christ, guys, what is wrong? What is wrong with that kind of? Is there a real difference between a kid that understands science and a kid that doesn't? I mean, is there like a division?
Well, that's what I was asking you about the brain just the other day, Mike. Is there a reason why, you can have a young Sheldon and then the other kid sitting next to him going, I don't understand any of this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there is some evidence for that in the structure of the brain, but I mean, that would not account for this because there are people with perfectly normal IQs, like right at the norm, 100, that understand this stuff and can understand, are fully capable of understanding science and having very intelligent conversations with you. Basically, normal intelligence in a human being is really intelligent. It's somebody that you can have a conversation with. And there's some indication that these genius type people have a few extracortical loops, but they really hard to prove that or hard to figure that out. But I don't think that accounts for this. It's almost like how you were brought up or how your mind developed, that you either see the world in an analytical, scientific way, or you see it entirely. There you go. We were
now. Is that what somebody would have that you would call like a savant or a ADHD or whatever the correct term is? Where
did you hear
where they're hyper focused? Is that what they've got more loops rolling around to?
Did you hear us talk about the savant syndrome yesterday? There's some indication that when you like a savant has damage in one part of the brain that keeps us in touch with the world, and they end up using something I think called the cerebellum, which is like a really kind of crystal-like structure that helps us in fine-tuned movements. But it's like a computer. It works like a damn computer. It's really well wired. And I think they co-opt that to do the mathematics, to do calendars and mathematics. And anyway, savant is something that we're still researching in neuroscience and trying to figure out. But that is one theory. But they do know that damage to this one particular area of the brain will create a savant type syndrome, that a person will suddenly end up with some talent just out of the blue that is really good and surprising. And it's because of damage to part of the brain.
Well, shit, I'd like to have a surgery that damages that part of my brain.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, you wouldn't be able to tie your shoes, or
that's okay. There's always Velcro.
That's Homer Simpson when he had the crayon removed from his nose that he stuck up there when he was a little kid, and then he decided, you know what, I kind of like the crayon better, so they put the crayon back.
Oh, it became a genius?
Yeah, when they took the crayon out, Homer Simpson was smart. It was all because when he was a little kid, he stuck a crayon up his nose.
That's right. Oh my gosh.
The bartender, Mo, is the one that did the operation.
So Dr. Thompson and I yesterday were talking about the lateralization of the brain hemispheres, right and left brain. And basically the right side of your brain controls the left side of your body. The left side controls the right. The left side of the brain is more analytical, has language and syntax and semantics and all of that going on the left side, which is in current culture the side that we use most often. And the right side of your brain is like a little bit weirder. You'll get spiritual feelings, intuitions, humor, more emotional, and maybe it's a difference in how much of which side of the brain you were brought up to use. So if you're brought up like homeschooled, I'm guessing you would be more right-brained than left-brained. I don't know.
And I just heard it again the other day that you only use 10% of your brain. Now,
fuck no.
No. Would you address that real quick, Mike? Because we were talking about it the other day, but just real quick. Okay. A lot of your brain is being used, correct?
Well, first of all, when you're born, you have way too many neurons, right? And then for the next 22 years, those neurons are dying off. And when those neurons die off, the structure that is left is your whole fucking brain. And in that structure, over the course of your lifetime, you're going to put down memories. And when you put down memories, you're not going to grow new neurons in other parts of your brain. What you're going to do is develop different network connections. So that one neuron could be a memory of your grandma's strawberry pie. And another neuron could be how you add 3 and 3 together, right? Or I mean, the same neuron could be used in a different network to do something totally different, but you're using all of your brain. And one of the reasons why when you get older, you start having trouble remembering things is because you have too many intersections and too many networks going on. In other words, people that have trouble remembering the name of an actor or a band, there's nothing wrong with their brain other than that it's too fucking full.
It's too full. Yep. Give old people a break when they have to think for a second because there's a lot more to look through. Yeah.
Yeah, and you use your whole damn brain for everything. Just to move your arm, you're probably using 60% of your brain. Just to do that one thing.
But that myth still rolls around.
Oh my God.
You only use 10% of your brain. It's like no.
Yeah. What's her name? Johansson, the actress that appeared in what was it? What was the name of the movie? Lucy, the movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
I know who the actress is.
Yeah, I know who the actress is.
I can't remember her first name. This is an example of what the hell. Give it to me, James.
I'll give you what?
Johansson's first name.
Scarlett.
There you go. I forgot it for a moment. There you go. Good example.
There you go. Yeah.
Anyway, Scarlett Johansson was in a movie called Lucy, and me and my son went and sat in the theater. And I wanted to run out of the theater screaming but I love looking at Scarlett Johansson. I don't know why. I just love doing it.
Yeah, you and me both.
So I was like torn between, like, I get up, it's like, I'm leaving. Fuck, I can't stand it no more, Dustin. They're talking about she's using 10% of her brain. Now she's using 20. Now she's using 30. And I'm just pulling my hair out. But anyway, I sat through the whole movie. I managed to make it through.
That's what happened to your hair.
Yeah, I pulled
that
it.
That movie.
Well, that one, and I remember Ben Stein's Expelled.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that was the other movie. I lost a lot of hair there too.
Just
Well, that's where I lost my chest hair.
It was just a couple weeks ago. Somebody said, "Have you seen Expelled?" And it's like, "Oh, yes, I've seen it." Have you seen it?
That was a movie that got me into all this, basically.
Well, and I thought Ben Stein was like, this super smart guy, and he was on the Man Show trivia show game thing, and everything. Try to beat Ben Stein or whatever it was, and
win Ben Stein's money.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw that, and I was like, my brain kind of right, and I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I told.
But again, I defer back to Mike Shermer, and Alex O'Connor covered it with different wording too. That smart people can believe in silly things.
Sure.
So I told this story before, but it is such a goddamn good story. So I think it was 2008. I was working in Columbus for J.P. Morgan, and my son was here in Minneapolis. And Ben Stein premiered that movie at the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota, where I live right now. So that's where the premiere was, right? P.Z. Myers and Richard Dawkins were at the Mall of America, and they wanted to go to that movie. So when they went into the movie, they recognized P.Z. Myers and kicked him out. They wouldn't let him into the movie, basically, because I think Ben Stein was even there. But they didn't recognize Richard Dawkins, and they let him in. So P.Z. Myers was walking around the mall tweeting or on some social media. I can't remember what we had in 2008. And my son saw the message, called me and told me about it, and told me that Richard Dawkins had a forum. And I went and signed on to Richard Dawkins' forum that very night. Well, P.Z. Myers and Richard Dawkins were still in the mall. Dawkins, of course, watching the movie. P.Z. Myers walking around. And that's how I got into consciousness. That was my first post about the mind, consciousness, and woo-woo. So that's basically what got me into this whole thing. I blame P.Z. Myers and Richard Dawkins. I think PZ is fighting with Dawkins now because Dawkins has come out with some pretty, he's gotten a little weird in his old age.
Well, PZ kind of, had a thing where people were he's kind of, rough around the edges or whatever. And he seemed to have mellowed over the years. And Dawkins kind of, just, he's another one. It's like, dude, go fishing. Okay. Because you're at that age when they stick a microphone in your face. They just want you to say something stupid.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Just go fishing. Say, no comment. I've written how many books, go read them. Right.
Yeah.
That would have been.
They do. They stick that mic in their face, and then they know how to get them onto, hot topics or whatever. And even if you meant with good intention, you just used the wrong wording or whatever. And then it's just, don't do it, folks. Okay. Go fishing. Okay. You're retired. Okay. It's okay.
So a couple of weeks later or a month later, I was back in Minnesota, and I went to that same theater to see Expelled. And I got in the theater, and I was sitting there, and the first thing that comes up on the screen is I think he had Hitler and Nazi Germany, and he was trying to make a connection. I can't remember. But anyway, I was sitting there, And I looked around, and there were all these kind of shiny faced people, and they were oohing and eyeing when I was laughing at Ben Stein, and they were like applauding. And and all of a sudden I got this feeling like, okay, I'm the only fucking atheist in this theater. These people are going to kill me if they figure it out. So I got up and left the movie after about 25, 30 minutes, and I ended up watching it later on, a streaming service. But it scared the shit out of me because the entire crowd was like doing something that didn't make any sense to me. And when I looked over at them, I swear their eyes were twinkling. And
I got it from the other side with the zeitgeist thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is blah blah blah, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, this is a bunch of woo, man.
Bullshit.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Again, people get sucked into things. It doesn't have to be the religious or the religious right or anything. The left gets sucked into things too, and if you want to see the left getting sucked into things, check out some of Thunderfoot's videos where he's debunked all these things, and I have to admit a few of them I thought were good ideas until he brought up some points to think about, and then it's like, yeah, maybe solar roadways aren't the best idea, so we get sucked into, but yeah, you got to take a minute and you got to listen to other people like Phil or whoever, whatever channels you listen to. Get those different inputs where they're like, oh, I don't know. There's some problems if you do this, and it's, oh, well, yeah, I guess so. So don't go all in. Don't be a Musk fan. Those people are.
Oh, Elon Musk is such a piece of shit.
That one guy's got his life savings wrapped up in Tesla as it's just dropping and dropping and dropping, and he refuses to, get rid of it. He's just going to hold on till the end, and literally he's not going to have any money left.
Oh, let's see. I'm doing a little research. Anyway, Swifter, what's up? Oh, he's wandered off. Somebody wandered out. Yeah,
he was wandering around. Right. What's up with you? What's up with you, James?
Oh, sorry. I'm like cleaning the house. I just finished 3 overnight shifts, so I'm just like cleaning the disaster that accumulates.
Yep.
What were you saying, James?
Oh, I'm just playing a video game in the background, listening to you guys talk, and just chilling with you guys.
How the fuck do you do that?
What?
Play a video game while you're talking.
I don't know either.
All right. Well, maybe I had a skill I didn't know about.
Okay, guys. So I hope. Okay, this is the story. The YouTube has Richard Dawkins talking about how he got expelled from the mall, basically. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. We were both set off to watch the film Expelled, No Intelligence Allowed in the Mall of America in Minneapolis. You very kindly were taking me along with a lot of people as your guest. Anyway, he talks about the whole experience. And oddly enough, that was how I got into this whole fucking game.
My favorite Dawkins getting bounced was by that one preacher that ended up getting in trouble for having a boyfriend on the side and everything.
Oh.
What was his name? That one creepy pastor.
Yeah.
They're all creepy.
Well, that's happened times. Which instance of that? I mean, like...
his name's on the tip of my tongue. Hang on.
Yeah, that didn't make it worse.
If somebody comes out with some homophobic bullshit, you could set a timer to the time they're going to be found with a male prostitute in some motel room. Yeah, it's just always happened.
His name's...
Anyway.
Haggard.
Oh, yeah, Ted Haggard.
Ted Haggard, that's the one.
He was
Yeah. Yeah, he get out of here, chasing him out into the parking lot. Get out of here.
And I think he admitted to be openly to being gay, and then later on he said he got
no. He went on Oprah and said he talked to his psychiatrist, and he wasn't gay.
Yeah,
he just had gay tendencies.
Yeah, gay tendencies. I see.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like he was. He got so disowned by the church, they told him to move out of state, and he did.
Wow. Yeah, he moved to Arizona or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at that car. You like that car?
That's a classic.
It's a 1979 Heritage Baby Blue Thunderbird. I owned that car. I bought that brand new off the lot back in 79.
Well, as a mechanic, I can tell you the big hood things really hurt our backs.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of room to work in this one. And it had all this, all this blue leather interior trim, around the bumper and everything. And we got a gold plate with our names on it on the inside. It was quite the car.
The one big injury I had working on cars was, I think it was a Cadillac. I was taking the radiator out, and I tweaked something on my back when I went to lift it out, and I went right back down on the hood of the car, and I was yelling for my boss, I can't get up. And I had to have the ambulance come and everything and take me to the hospital. Oof. And my spine looked like a question mark on the x-ray.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happened.
Not a fan of the big hoods. I because of that one instance there, but
yeah, that was a long hood. When you sat in the driver's seat, you looked way. Oh, and it had an 8-track quadraphonic tape player.
Yeah, quadraphonic sound. I remember that. That was all the rage. Yeah. And then it lasted for like a month.
Yeah, Quadrophenia by who the hell did that? Was that
The Who?
The Who, yeah.
Yeah.
Quadrophenia. And that was that was the only tape I could find that played quad. But this car had a quad 8-track tape player. Kids, back in the day, 8-track tape players used to be how we played music. We put a big plastic cartridge inside of a thing. Music came out of it. Yeah, them were the days.
8-tracks were cool, but cassettes were a game changer because everybody could record their own stuff just about anywhere, and the mixtapes, right? Everybody had mixtapes, so.
Yeah, I realized we were in trouble when the cassettes came out. It's like, okay, they're going to keep changing the format every year. Now we have the internet. And I guess they can't do that on us anymore. But they just change the fucking format constantly. It was horrible. Horrible, horrible.
Oh, yeah, and I got rid of all my CDs and DVDs and all that. I mean, some of them I kept just for nostalgia, but
I got a box out there.
I cleared all that stuff out. I got so much more room and on the shelves and everything and stuff when you can just hit the stream. It's great.
Yeah, I got a box of LPs from the 60s and 70s out there in the garage.
I'll tell you what, Azzo, they're talking about making tapes. A couple of my buddies had older brothers, and they used to have reel-to-reels. And that was you were the chit if you had that.
Yeah, I had like back in 1969, I had a stereo that cost $1,500, which would have been probably about $6,000 today.
Yeah,
I had a Marantz Model 1000 receiver, and I had 2 reel-to-reels, and you could do like reverb and all kinds of shit. I had my turntable mounted on cement blocks and all that bullshit. That was pretty cool. But
oh yeah, I had my turntable isolated because when I would crank it up, it would start to skip if I didn't isolate it.
Yeah. them were the days.
We had to make our own little engineering back when we were teenagers.
Yep.
I got the air guard out practicing today.
Oh, we don't get that here. I don't know why. Not sure. Anyway,
Wednesdays and Saturdays seem to be the days. So the guys got to get out or the guys and gals need to get out and get their air time in. So yeah, they'll fly around and it'll rumble the house pretty good.
Is it like Air Force?
Yeah, we've got an air guard out here at the airport.
Okay. So you get chemtrails?
Oh yeah.
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 I haven't seen one of those for years and years. For some reason, they just don't fly over Minneapolis. I think probably because the gangs downtown shoot them down.
Well, we covered those. Remember, we were covering those in the clouds when we did our when I did my stream. Remember?
Oh yeah.
They're up there painting crosses in the sky and all kind of things. So.
Yeah, so Johnny, amateur conversationalist, says all the idiots you're describing are going to vote. That's the weird fucking thing. That's the other thing that just runs through this whole thing is that conservative fundamentalist. God, the Republican Party has become such a shithole. Shithouse. I mean, what? And the reason they did it is because they wanted that evangelical vote. And so they started the abortion platform. They did all this bullshit, and they completely ruined the party. Because Republicans used to stand for something that I kind of go for: small government, small constitution. Small government, adhere to the Constitution religiously. And they went against all of that. Now they don't give a shit about that. They want to climb right into your bedroom and tell you, missionary position only.
Remember when getting enthusiastic like Howard Dean doomed your chances of getting elected?
Yeah.
All he did was, yeah, he was excited. And everybody said, you can't be president. That's all it took.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. Okay, guys, I want to get out of here.
All right. Have a great day, everybody.
Okay. Swifter, you got anything you want to leave us with, or you cleaning house yet? Still cleaning house. Okay.
But we're going to cover the Mothman and the Point Pleasant Bridge collapse at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. That's about 3 hours from now on my channel under the Grassman Chronicles. And Joe from the Kentucky Atheist is going to be my guest host, and with a little luck, we might get Bree to stop by too. So
5:30 p.m. in the One True Zone. There is no fucking such thing as Eastern Time. Stop doing that. Just God damn it.
I guess the one. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I was just going to say something about Mike. So go ahead.
Just to go back all the way to the beginning of the stream, when you talk about how precepts, I see this all the time. They want to say that they have like an answer to what the one fundamental thing is, and they say God. And Digital Gnosis, he likes to like call that a semantic wrapper, because like when you kind of analyze like what this God referent is, there really isn't that much there, and all the properties that they predicate upon that God, you could just give usually like the antonym, right, to what you think this natural state of affairs is going to be.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the two, it's not like they have any. It's like in their case, it's probably more vacuous because there's less explanatory power that they get from it.
Yeah, they think it's explanatory power to think in terms of a tool using human being, right? Which is what we're a tool using primate, and we create things, and that seems to be their whole definition of God. That God can create things, can intervene, can will things to happen, can plan DNA and all of that stuff. And that seems to be their definition of God. And that is the God that, in relation to that, I am an atheist. So I'm an atheist about that kind of a God that looks like a human being. But I mean, why they got that gotcha? God made us in his image. So he made us as tool making, creating type things, right? Mm-hmm. But it's actually obviously the other way around. this tool-making primate created a being in the sky that can create stuff with his little tools. His tools turn out to be his voice. I command horses to exist.
Right.
It seems it could go either way. Like
Right.
God made us or we made them. It doesn't make a difference. I mean, you're not going to get any theoretical virtues from something like that.
Yeah.
On their view.
Like when God created all the elephants, he didn't just create 2 elephants, Adam and Eve elephant. He created a whole herd of them. So if you were standing in the field when God created the elephants, what would happen to the air that the elephants displaced? Would it kill you? I asked Christians.
The shock wave from it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I asked Christians that, and they never wanted to answer. If God just kind of like brought the elephants slowly into existence, the air would move away, kind of like slowly, like maybe 60 miles an hour, and you get blown down. But if he did it all like in an instant, in the tiniest instant, the air would have to like leave at like infinite velocity.
Well, that pastor I covered in the short video I did, he said when the fountains of the deep burst open, it was equivalent to 1 trillion billion atomic bombs.
Right.
And I'm like, do you know what 1 trillion billion atomic bombs would do to the planet?
Erica covered that yesterday. She said that would be something like 10 hydrogen bombs per square kilometer.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That's not good.
But that's what I mean. If you're using the right side of your brain, that shit may make sense to you. But fuck, you got 2 sides to your brain. Use them both. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Well, the Hovind says that the fountains of the deep ejected rocks out of our atmosphere and made craters on the moon.
Oh, no, that Nephilim Free is the one that's famous for Bukkake Moon.
And it's like that's a powerful fountain that can launch that huge boulders. We're not talking about pebbles, we're talking about boulders, whatever the big rock. I need a geologist. Where's Andrew? Boulder, the correct term, Andrew. Firing boulders out of the atmosphere and pulverizing the moon. That's some powerful water.
Yeah, I think on American Looms, Nephilim Free, like I think the Wikipedia might have a page on his Bukkake Moon. Look up
Crazy.
You'll
all the time on Discord.
Oh, it's nuts. But somebody did a calculation, like if rain fell, enough rain to basically cover the highest mountain, that just the rain going through the atmosphere would generate enough heat to melt the surface of the earth. If we had all that much water falling at once. But
well, that's the thing. Yeah, they keep, every time they try to add an explanation, they're adding more of a heat problem. So every one of their explanations just exponentially multiplies the heat problem until we're beyond molten. We're back to like plasma or something.
So Gutsy Gibbon did a wonderful video yesterday on that topic, on the heat problem.
She's covered it well. Yeah.
No, actually, she was talking about the heat problem. Then she was talking about the mud problem. The mud problem is a really big problem.
Well, you know how good she's covering it because of how many people have made response videos from the other side about her videos. So, yeah, they know her arguments are out there.
Yep.
And of course, half of them are just saying, "Well, she's a girl."
Yeah.
It's like, she's a lot smarter than you, ain't she?
Right.
Pretty formidable.
Pretty obvious why you went there.
Yep. Anyway. Okay.
And who hurt you, Leo? Somebody hurt you, didn't they, Leo? I can feel it. I really feel it. Somebody, did you see it, James? Were you at the Griftianity yesterday?
Yeah.
I've never got timed out so much in all my life as with the Frank Turk at Griftianity since the last time I was on a Frank Turek live stream.
Wow.
Did you post that video in our message stream? The one you're talking about?
The Griftianity one?
Yeah. Was that
I'm
on
not sure if I did or not.
Was that Leo's channel?
No, Leo went on. Leo waited for like hours to be the last person on the Griftianity stream yesterday with Frank Turek.
Okay, what channel was that? Christianity?
It's on Capturing Christianity with Cameron.
Oh, Cameron. Okay. Okay, I'll have to check that out.
Grayson and Leo both got on.
Okay, cool.
And Grayson was also on when he had Cy on the other day, and that's when he invited Cy to further the conversation on his channel. So maybe Cy is going to be on Grayson's channel as well. But it's all started because, as James likes to say, the Griftianity is doing his fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
And if you give him enough money, he will give you a bronze statue of Jesus in the pose from the Shroud of Turin.
So I just posted that video on.
But yeah, Leo pretty much had Frank stumped, and Frank said, "You know, I just want to take a moment and just say, you know, Leo, somebody hurt you. I can feel you've got a pain."
What was the topic? The point? Do you remember?
Well, Leo's syllogism was basically that something like this is a Christian internal critique, that the Christians say that God is all good, but Leo's second thing was that then certain things ought not to happen, like the Holocaust, but they do happen, so the good God cannot exist.
Made for Jim Bob covered that. And
Frank and Cameron were both stumped. They both kept trying to say, so you don't believe in evil? And he says, no, I believe in evil. But he says, this is an internal critique of the good God argument, that it ought to not be that you could have these things not happen. And at the same time, humanity could go on and we could still have free will without having the glitch or whatever to go do a Holocaust, right?
Yeah, God could just choose the logically possible world where people are libertarian free, but always choose the good. Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, but
Frank was stumped. So he said, "Somebody hurt you, didn't they, Leo?"
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really hard for them to get out of that one. I mean,
Made for Jim Bob just destroyed that argument because he says, okay, when you suffer, basically it often makes you stronger and better, when you suffer.
Yeah, that's the good that comes out of the bad argument. Right. Yeah.
So when God killed everybody except for 6 people for the flood, what he was doing is helping those 6 people with their suffering, because they had to spend okay, imagine spending a year on a boat with 7,000 fucking shitting animals, right? So, I mean, obviously it made them better people, right? So, I mean, that's how you get around the problem of evil.
The soul building is like the usual response to the evidential problem. I saw that video with Jim Bob, and he made like huge mistakes. Like, first off, he just misunderstood that there's a logical and evidential problem, and he mixes up the two. And then after that, he starts asking atheists about like what they think evil is or what their definition is, which has nothing to do with the problems because they're both internal critiques. It's like,
and then Grayson was stumping Sygart because Sygart's argument now is he's got this ID argument going on that the cells are purpose driven, right? But then, or no, wait, it wasn't Grayson. It was the other guest that was on there. But Grayson talked about stuff too. But anyway, the other guests brought back to Cy, what about cancer? And then he got stumped because the purpose of that cell was to be cancer and kill the host. And then Cy said, well, you've got viruses. And it's like, yeah, but viruses can go to another host, so his argument didn't make sense that the intent of the cell that was intelligently designed was to go bad, right, and become cancerous.
All the same
And
problems
Cy
with
kind
like
of,
versatility. Oh, sorry.
well, I don't think Cy had thought about that because he seemed to be, scratching his chin thinking, right? So
those are all the same problems with the Aristotelian teleological view, where they have to like ad hoc say, well, these things have essence because they're reaching a goal. Well, these things like cancer cells and like horrible diseases aren't for ad hoc reasons.
yeah, somebody, the last Fry Bender, when is Cameron with capturing Christianity, not fundraising? Well, this is why James dubbed him Griftianity.
Right.
Seems to me has been operating in a deficit for years now. Yeah, he was full out every day. We can't go on producing this content anymore unless you pay us. And I think James and I were discussing it. It's like, well, how much does your StreamYard cost?
Yeah, right. $30 a month or 19 a month now.
Yeah, we're on right now, right, doing the same thing. I mean, we don't have the little fancy graphics going across the stream, but I mean, you add a couple banners and we're good to go, right?
Yeah.
For whatever is $25 a month, and then you got your internet or whatever, But it's like, why is he having such difficulties paying his cable and his StreamYard bill, right?
Right. I feel like if someone's going to be begging me for money like that, they need to give me complete access to see their bank account and their monthly bills, so that I really know what's going on. Because I feel like I've got a right at that point. If I'm investing in a business, I have a right to see the books.
Yeah.
There are some channels that do show their stuff. I have seen it before. They do say, "See, here it is. This is, and this is where it's going," because they say they're going to send it to whatever, or use it for whatever, and then they show, "See, here it is. There it went. Here's the receipt." So
I got a little banner going right now.
Yeah, see, there you go. See, you run your little banner there. Just add PayPal.com or whatever on it, and yeah, Cameron. I don't know who you're paying to make you, make your banners or whatever, but I think you're maybe paying them too much or something.
So YouTube took another one of my weather report videos down. This is the third one, and I tuned into the spot, right? And okay, now none of you say the damn thing that I'm talking about, but there was a problem that happened around 2020 that Trump handled really badly, and it killed a whole bunch of people. And we know what that was. And then there was a solution that came where you went, you did something to your arm, and you got a solution to it, right? And Scott popped up and said something about a microchip, which I don't think I'm going to get banned for. And then Manny Karen went on about some Jewish conspiracy, basically with, the thing that happens to your arm. And so we were making fun of conspiracy theorists, and their robot, their Autobot, saw the perfect storm between what Scott said and what Manny Karen said. And took us, and now I got to file an appeal. And unfortunately, when you file an appeal, they have a robot look at that too.
Yeah.
It's like it's robots all the way down.
Did you say something mean about robots?
I should. Yeah, I probably said something mean about.
Oh, the one I got was from Troy Black, talking about his prophecy video, and I answered back. I did XYZ, everything within lines of fair use, and I believe my video meets or exceeds the terms of fair use. Yeah, and I immediately got a message back. He's dropped the check mark, and I'm like, thank you very much.
Yeah, I
you crybaby, you.
I tell him the copyright once because somebody played a video on the stream, and inside of the video was reference to another video that this woman thought was copyrighted, right? So she did a copyright strike on me, and I ended up talking to her. We had really bad words for a while, and then finally I calmed her down, and she took the strike off. But this other thing, when they just ban you for talking about the thing that happened during Trump's administration, is really difficult to get them to take down.
I think that YouTube is really paranoid about that because they kind of got trouble in like the 2010s or something
Well,
about
fuck,
like the rabbit
they-
holes and stuff.
The thing is,
Okay.
with they leave the content up that directly talks about a conspiracy.
Yeah,
These Christians are putting that garbage out, and I was responding to it.
there's just so much content. It's hard for them to do it. I mean, they'll save money by.
You have to continuously repeat. By the way, this is not true. This is false.
Yeah,
You know, like David Pac-Man. Yeah, Pac-Man got in trouble too. So now you notice when Pac-Man says everything, or if he's playing a clip, he's always pausing it and saying, by the way, none of this is true. This has been fact checked, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead there, Swifter.
I don't know. It's like kind of random, but my wife grew up as neighbors to I think they're Wojnowski's. It's the CEO, the former CEO of YouTube, who got in trouble, and then her sister is the CEO of 23andMe. And it's funny because their mother like has like this like neighborhood feud with my mother-in-law, and my mother-in-law just hates her because she thinks she's really rude and like stuck up and pretentious about her daughters being so successful.
well, amazing. Okay, guys, I need to get out. I got some company.
All right, guys. Have a good
Okay,
one.
guys.
All right. Good talking to everybody. Thanks everybody for in the chats, both the channels, a lot of people. Good to see y'all. And don't forget, come by the over at my channel in a couple hours, and we're going to talk about the Mothman. Have a good, great time with Joe from the Kentucky Atheist.
Awesome.
Yeah,
See you
and
guys.
next time somebody should ask me about forward and backward DNA and Donnie Badinsky and his whole theory about how it disproves evolution. Anyway, later on. So we're out of here. Goodbye, cool world.